Good evening, meteorologist Mike Linden here, coming at you live. It has been an incredibly active, let's just say, couple of weeks here across the southern United States. You are looking here at 3 tornado warnings on the map. Let me zoom things out. It has been an active day for the South. It really started popping off. About a half an hour ago, we saw tornado warnings earlier this afternoon, but in terms of just the sheer number of them here over the past hour or so, it's been very active. Right now, you can see tornado warnings over Arkansas and pretty much right over the Arkansas line there going into Mississippi. There are 3 of them. Those are those red boxes there. And what we're going to do is I'm going to tap on each of them and we'll go through all of the communities affected. So this right now is for the tornado warning that is up at the top there for Mississippi, including the cities of Coldwater, Como, Sardis, and Senatobia. I might be mispronouncing that. Apologies. Around about 13 or so thousand people in that warning. And we're talking a good 20 minutes from now. Keep in mind, this is for Central Time. So depending on where you're watching from, I'm actually on the East Coast, so it's 11:25 Eastern right now. But again, this goes into effect for the next 20 minutes with that tornado warned storm. Let me get that off the screen. We'll jump over to this next one. This is the one in the middle here, right on the Arkansas-Mississippi line here. We're talking here about the cities of Elaine, Friars Point, Jonestown, and Marks. That is in effect for the next 5 minutes. We will see what the National Weather Service does with that one. And then we have this one here over Arkansas, affecting the cities of Monticello and Wilmar. This is also in effect for the next 20 minutes. Again, an incredibly active day today as let me pull this up for you here. We'll jump back to the radar, but we are still under this enhanced risk for severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center also adding, let me grab my pointer tool here, also adding in this slight risk area for Missouri and for southern Illinois and just a tiny little bit of western Indiana here. This is new. This came this evening after 8 o'clock tonight. So adding that in as the atmosphere, the dew points are just ripe right now for thunderstorm development, and they have been all day. But this is the area that we're watching here very closely. This is this orange color here. That is that enhanced risk, meaning numerous, persistent, and a few intense thunderstorms. And we did see a pretty pronounced hook echo on radar earlier today with a tornado in the region of Texas and Louisiana. We will learn more about that here in the coming hours. Remember, it's very late at night, so in order to see the damage, we'll really have to kind of wait until sun up to get an idea of what went on there. Again, just these past couple of days, it's just seemingly been nonstop for this area of the country. Let me zoom things out again. We are watching these 3 areas, and what I'll do is we'll switch over to the reflectivity here. And what this is going to show us is essentially the rotation, the spin in the atmosphere. What I'm going to do here is I'll drop these warnings for at least right now, because I want you to pay very close attention. Let me grab that pointer tool here. This right here, this is very likely, or at least we're showing it on radar here. This is the rotation that has the National Weather Service really paying very close attention. Of course, when you see this green color here, it's winds representing going toward the radar site, with red representing winds away from it. So when you start to see kind of this happening here, we're in the middle of the green or the red, and you start to see the opposite happening, and you start to see this right in here. When I throw that warning back on, notice that is exactly where those tornado warnings are. And this is what you would call a radar indicated tornado, at least the wording from the National Weather Service here, showing Doppler radar indicating a severe thunderstorm producing a tornado is located over Crenshaw. This is earlier today, moving east at 60 miles per hour. So again, just radar indicated rotation. We need to be able to get that ground truth to know, again, what is going on the ground there here. We're going to jump over to another product and we'll take a look at the correlation coefficient. And this is a really useful product when you're talking about seeing debris being lofted into the atmosphere. This is typically when you're going to see really, really strong tornadoes. You'll really start to see that signature. In fact, if I put this in motion, let me jump back to here. Apologies for that. Let me jump on back. We'll go to the warnings layer. I'm just going to turn that off for a brief moment here, and I will get this looping here. So we'll get an idea, again, of anything being lofted into the atmosphere. You're not necessarily seeing a strong signal which is a good thing when you're talking about tornadoes. When you start to see that correlation coefficient, that tornado debris signature, a TDS, that is representative of things getting lofted into the atmosphere. The good news is that at least as of right now, there isn't anything super significant jumping out on the correlation coefficient, which is a good sign here. But when you start to look at this, let me drop these warnings again, and I'm just going to scrub through for you here. So we'll start you off. This is roughly an hour ago, the hour loop that I have. And you are seeing, if I draw here on the map here, you are seeing again that V notch, at least seemingly trying to come out of that main line there. And when you start to see that V, that's really the start of when you begin to see the hooking happening here. Again, when you get that hook echo, as it's called, combined with this V notch here, that is typically, at least the beginnings, when you start to see that hook echo, that is the signature of a severe thunderstorm, a supercell likely, or at least not likely, but has the potential to put down a tornado. As of right now, again, the good news is that we aren't seeing that jump out at us. These storms really want to kind of be like this one here. They want to be off on their own. They don't really want to be on this main line of storms here when you're talking about tornado development. Good news for the folks that, again, live in northern Mississippi, kind of on that southern Tennessee line. That tornado warning has expired. I'm going to stay with you here until this one is expired here. Let me get that exact time for you. And that is at 10:45 Central Time. So we got another 15 minutes. So I will stay with you here. But again, for the people that live, let me get these towns for you here when I zoom in closer here. Even in Coldwater, Senatobia, Crenshaw, Sardis, you want to be in your safe place. Again, right now, just a radar indicated tornado. At least this is tornado warned because this is part of that line that not too long ago over Arkansas, there was video of a tornado earlier from this line. So this is what you call a storm that has a history. And following along this same kind of path, mind you, just one storm after the other. That's what we call training. Think about like a locomotive on a train track, right? They're just going to follow on that same track. The track's not necessarily going to change. That's what we're kind of seeing here. And boom, there you go. So the National Weather Service, you saw it right here live. We'll get the latest information on this tornado warning, extending that tornado warning. As we saw, it's because of that rotation that likely has their attention. That tornado warning staying until 11:15 Central Daylight Time. So again, we've got a ways to go here. That's another 45 minutes on this tornado warning here. So I'll stay with you until that prior one expires, and then we'll make a decision what to do from there. But at least for now, I will stay with you. Again, for the folks that live in Holly Springs, Coldwater, Como, Sardis, Senatobia, I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. My apologies. Let me know in the chat if I'm mispronouncing that here. And again, thank you very much for joining us this evening. But again, for the people that live in those communities, let me grab my tool here and we'll get a look at the cone. So we'll start right here and I'll extend this out, and that's going to drop some cities: Sledge, Sardis, Aiken, Aberville, Holly Springs. You need to be in your safe place, that being a centrally located area of your home. In fact, I don't want to take the radar down here to show you another graphic, so I'll just keep talking through this. So Damien, you can leave the radar up here. You want to get to that central most location in your home, especially for the people that live in these communities here. It's always good to have that safe place to go to in the event of an emergency situation like this. Now, what that location is going to be, again, put as much wall, as much house in between yourself and the outside as possible. Don't worry about it being on the north side, south side, east or west side facing of your home. Centrally located. That could be a closet, a bathroom, a crawl space underneath a flight of stairs. If you have a mattress, put that over top of you to protect yourself in the event of falling debris. And I know it may be tough to drag around a mattress with you. This is why you need to have a plan in place. If you have an old twin mattress, that's easier to carry around than a queen or a king size, right? But if you don't have one of those, that's okay. Blankets, thick pillows, a bicycle helmet. That may sound really silly, but a bicycle helmet could save your life. I mean, let alone you riding a bike if you were to fall off of it. But that's what it's meant to do, to protect your head and this very important part of your body, your brain stem and your head. So putting on a bicycle helmet in the event something like this, being in your safe place, that bicycle helmet, blankets, a mattress, really what you're going to want to do. Really good ideas there. If you have a basement, that is the ideal location. But I know for many people that live in the southern United States, being that the water table is a little higher than in other places, you may not have one. That's okay. Again, a central location. If you live in a mobile home, you should not be in a mobile home. The key word there, mobile, meaning that it can move. A mobile home becomes mobile, very easy for winds such as let alone a tornado, but very strong gusts of wind can easily move or loft a mobile home. So that is not an ideal place to be. You need to be somewhere that is firmly in the ground, has a strong foundation in the ground. And mobile homes are just not that. I would imagine people that live in mobile homes know this and have a plan in place. On the 17th, on St. Patrick's Day, there was that outbreak across the southern United States, 0 fatalities. That's fantastic. Very unfortunately, just the other day, the tornado outbreak across Mississippi, Alabama, at least as of we know, 5 people were killed in that event, with dozens more injured. Hopefully that number does not continue to rise. 1 is too many. So we're really aiming for that 0, and that is what we're trying to do here. Again, we're watching this storm. Let me get rid of all the stuff on the map there. Again, Damien, we'll get to that weather stem camera in a minute. It's off in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll look at that in just a moment. We were seeing some wild lightning from Vanderbilt University. But again, let me switch to this. And this is going to show us that the velocity, meaning you're seeing, and we are getting right now the radar data from Mississippi. So green, again, representing winds going toward the radar site, right? So in this case, it's going to be winds going in this direction, whereas red representing winds going in the opposite direction. I should have grabbed the one with the arrowhead. Either way, let me zoom in here. So again, this is what we're watching here. You can really see that rotation on the radar. In fact, let me drop the warnings. You can see it. It's right here. In fact, we kind of have 2 similar areas to watch out for here, and that's likely the reason why you're seeing this polygon being as large as it is, covering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counties there. Let me zoom in again. This is very likely right up in here on Route 55 and 51 here. For the people that are listening, if you are listening, if you know people that live in these areas, they need to be in their safe place. A radar indicated tornado, at least the rotation is there, and this tornado warning going to stay in effect. Let me click on it once again here. I'll get it up on the screen for you. We've got this tornado warning here in effect until 11:15 Central Time. So that is what we are watching here. The cities of Coldwater, Como, Sardis, again, my apologies there, and Senatobia. I'm trying my best here, folks. There's a lot of cities and communities. As long as you can see it there on the screen, I'm trying my best to get the pronunciation right. We got Damian McFarland operating here the live stream. He's a native Mississippian. Maybe he can let me know if I'm getting that name completely wrong. But that is what we are watching right there on Route 55 there on I-55. The radar indication with the rotation there. Let me pull that off. Again, we will take a look at the correlation coefficient. This is going to show us if there is anything being lofted into the atmosphere. And as of right now, we aren't necessarily seeing that popping out at us. You can see on the correlation coefficient the kind of the noise coming in back here. I mean, we got some big boy thunderstorms here, so not showing us necessarily debris being lofted, and that is a good sign. Let me jump back to the reflectivity here. We'll zoom in here. This is what you call, and I just spoke with a National Weather Service meteorologist the other day, coming up here with our coverage for Severe Weather Week. That's going to drop on Tuesday. Spoke with Kevin Rodriguez from the National Weather Service Melbourne office in Florida, and this is what he calls radar interrogation. I thought that term was so cool when he had said that. And really, the folks at the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, those that work for NOAA, I mean, we are talking about I mean, literally, their job is to protect life. That is what they are doing, issuing these watches and warnings. You'll hear more about that in the interview dropping on Tuesday. But really what we're doing here is just keeping an eye on this radar. I mean, you could even say babysitting the radar here. But the goal here is to keep an eye on things, and if anything is to develop, to let people know what they need to do. And again, these red boxes here, let me grab the pointer for you. These red boxes here, those are tornado warnings. So for the people that live in these communities, you need to already be in your safe place. You can already see this kind of bowing out here. Regardless of whether or not there's a tornado here, this is a radar signature for very strong winds. The reason for that being is that these winds are rushing so fast in this direction here, right? I have to draw an arrowhead here, but the winds are rushing so fast that essentially the radar is picking up on it and bending out, bowing out like a bow and arrow. I mean, right? If you think about it, if you've ever used a bow and arrow, when you pull back on the bow, the front of the bow starts to bend, right? That is exactly what's happening here, at least a good metaphor for you there here. Again, that's the signature there, a bow echo. The next step here, we're talking hook echoes. The good news is we aren't seeing that super pronounced. You are kind of seeing that V notch. You're seeing that outflow, and all of the atmospheric conditions are ripe for a tornado to drop. The key here, and something to keep in mind, is that we don't have the prime heating of the day. If this was earlier today, totally different story. But this is just another myth busted for people that think that tornadoes are impossible in the evening. That is not true. For people that think that tornadoes are impossible in hilly and mountainous terrain, that is also not true. And all you have to do is look back to Alabama when we saw those tornadoes touch down. So we've got some folks here watching in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening. Really appreciate it. Okay, I'm seeing in the chat that someone is saying that we don't have audio. Damien, can you just tell me if that's the case here? We do have audio. Okay, that's okay. That's what I thought. Perfect. I see you in the chat here. Awesome stuff. Yeah, and of course we are live in the app. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/myradarwx. We are on Twitter, Facebook. We're live in the app, of course, as well. The My Radar app. Just tap on the glowing video button. It's going to be at the bottom. You'll see it in red there to let you know that we are live. The yellow boxes, might I add, out ahead of this line and behind it, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. So again, very likely some very strong winds with this, of course, from the National Weather Service, upwards of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And if we zoom things out here, again, you'll see that this is a pretty potent line that we are watching. And oh, there is another tornado warning here. I think this is the one from earlier over the Monticello area. Yeah, we were watching that one. Let me pull up the time here on this one. Yeah, that's for the next 4 minutes. So we were watching that one earlier. Now this guy is off on its own, and you can see the National Weather Service has issued this severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of it. And that is in effect until for roughly the next hour. So we'll see what happens here, whether or not the National Weather Service decides to extend this tornado warning. That should happen here within the next 4 minutes. But that storm is certainly interesting in the sense that it's off on its own. So we'll get back to that one, but we will certainly not forget about it in the sense that it's away from the main line and doesn't have anything to really share its energy with. Now, back to this line here. Again, this one looks pretty nasty on the radar here. And really, this is indicative of some very strong winds. We're seeing that bowing happening here. Again, I'll draw it for you there, right in there. Again, when you're like pulling back on a bow and arrow, right? I mean, this is what it looks like, right? It's kind of the simplest metaphor I can give to you. That's really what I like to do. I really like to give those metaphors and try my best to put them into simplest terms. That's something that our chief meteorologist Leslie is really good at, taking these very complex weather phenomena, especially during hurricane season, and making them very digestible. That's the goal, to make sure that next time these things happen, that they're in the back of your mind, so you don't forget them. So again, we are watching this tornado warning here. That is definitely one to watch out for. Damien, if there's a way that we can do a 2-shot with the weather stem camera, so if we can show the radar and weather stem, I think that would be pretty neat. Perfect. So I'm talking to Damien here in my ears here. Big shout out to Damien. Show him some love in the chat. But again, we are watching this tornado warned storm. Right now, it is beginning to cross I-55 there and Route 51. This is again in northern Mississippi, right there to the south of Tennessee and to the east of the Arkansas line. For the folks that live in Little Rock, Hazen, that area, you guys are pretty much have the all clear at this point. But these were the storms that not too long ago, especially right here near DeWitt, that is where there was ground truth of a tornado on the ground. Let me grab my pointer tool and I'll point to it here. Right here in DeWitt, Arkansas. That is where there was a tornado located. And notice that is kind of following this same line here. So that is why the National Weather Service, at least very likely as to why the National Weather Service is continuing with that tornado warning, in the sense that it has, again, produced a tornado already today. So better safe than sorry. Better to extend this warning and keep it going to the east here. So let me jump back over here to the chat. If anybody is watching in any of these areas in the chat, please let me know. We've got some people here. Good people saying that they can hear. Fantastic. Audio's fine. Good. All right, you got the two-shot. Excellent. So let's pull it up there, Damien. So courtesy of our partners at WeatherStem, we're going to take a look now at a camera in Nashville, Tennessee at Vanderbilt University. And there it is. So this is out ahead of the main line here. And I wanted to show this to you because not too long ago here, we were seeing a lot of lightning. Damien, if you can drop me and pull up the radar, or maybe even put the radar there, picture in picture. That would be awesome, because we don't want to drop that. But again, we were seeing a lot of lightning here over the city of Nashville. This is, again, Vanderbilt University. Some smarty pants at Vanderbilt University. Really smart people at Vanderbilt University. Either way, over Nashville there, you can see spooky-looking eerie sky over Nashville. We were catching a lot of lightning earlier. I guess you can drop that, Damien. It's no big deal. We're not seeing anything right now, but that is ahead of the main line, where you'll see in the fast forecast coming up overnight tonight. There were some wild storms earlier in the day over Tennessee, producing a lot of hail, strong wind gusts, and again, Western Tennessee, part of that tornado watch earlier today. Okay, so I want to put a track on this guy here. So again, this one here in effect for the next half an hour. And then we've got, it's pretty much that tornado warning that we are watching. Let me go back here. So good news for the folks that live in Arkansas, this one here over Monticello. And for the folks that live in Cleveland, Mississippi there is a severe thunderstorm warning, and likely a storm that the National Weather Service is still watching, but that tornado warning has now expired as of 1 minute ago in Monticello. They're on 425 and Route 65. Good news is that has expired, so now we will pay attention to these guys up here. We have a tornado warning just to the southeast of Jackson as well. Let me pull that one up here. That's the precipitation rate. Let me clear that off. So again, this is in effect, this tornado warning for the next 45 minutes. This is for the cities of Henderson, Lexington, Luray, and Pinson, the counties of Chester, Decatur, Henson, and Madison. Let me pull this off here. We're going to zoom in. We'll get back to that storm there in Mississippi in a minute. You can see the radar is updating. It jumped to the Nashville radar there. And you are starting to see a little bit of that hooking starting to happen here. Again, here is that V-notch. So again, showing that very strong outflow. Let me jump to the reflectivity here, and we'll see if we can see that rotation. So you can almost kind of see it there in Henderson. Let me drop the warnings there. So yeah, you can kind of see the embedded rotation there. And that is likely, again, especially when you look at the reflectivity of this, you can start to see that hooking kind of happening. Just a little bit, or at least that signature kind of coming together. So that you can see those smaller storms kind of joining up with the main line there. I hate to say this, but again, that's kind of silver lining a little bit here when you're talking about significant potential tornadoes. You want to see, if we had to choose here, you want to see almost kind of that big thick line on the radar reflectivity there, rather than those storms off on their own. That's where things can get really nasty. Let me jump over to the reflectivity again, or rather the velocity. Again, this is going to show us the potential for rotation. And let me put a track on this. Let me grab the cone here for you, and we'll tap and we'll go this way, and we'll extend out that way. So Henderson, Lexington, Darden, Parsons, Busselton, Scotts Hill even. These are the cities and the locations that are potentially in the path of this tornado warning. So for people that are listening that live in those communities, you need to be in your safe place. Again, a central-most location in your home. Put as much house between yourself and those. I'm sorry, I got distracted here. There's looks like this tornado watch is going to be extended potentially into Alabama here within the next hour or so. So again, it is really this line. Let me jump back to here. It is this line here that the National Weather Service is watching closely. It has produced, again, a tornado back here in DeWitt, Arkansas, and that is likely as to why they are really paying close attention to this line here. Better safe than sorry in this event. The good news is, again, when we look at the reflectivity, you're not seeing that classic hook echo jumping out at you, and that is certainly a good sign here. Again, though, if we go back to the velocity scan, that is where you are seeing in both of these storms even. This one right here, you're seeing it looks like a bit of a mess here, but this is, again, where you're starting to see that shearing happening, winds going kind of in those opposite directions where they're working against one another. And then we go up here to this tornado warning affecting Henderson, Parsons, Scotts Hill. And let me grab my pointer right here. You can see that embedded rotation, especially when we switch back to the reflectivity. That is where, again, it's starting to at least jump out at us a little bit. So again, it's still looking rather jumbled. It's still a bit of a mess. Again, I hate to say these things, but it's a good thing, especially when we are talking about the potential for violent tornadoes. You don't want to see those storms off by themselves. Let's look at the correlation coefficient. Again, this is going to show us if there is anything being lofted into the atmosphere, just to show us if there is that debris signature, or that TDS, tornado debris signature. And the correlation coefficient is a product that will show you whether or not things are being lofted vertically into the atmosphere. And that could be pieces of a home or your roof, a car even. The correlation coefficient isn't going to be able to essentially distinguish what those individual unique items are. It will just simply tell us, looking at the radar, whether or not there is the presence of something being lofted vertically. And we are not seeing that right now. We always want to check in on that, especially when we are talking about tornadoes, but that is not what we are seeing, at least right now. That is good news. Let me zoom back out here. We've got a couple of tornado warnings that we are watching. Again, just as a reminder, we have this one here on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen in Mississippi for the counties DeSoto, Lafayette, Marshall, and Panola counties. That is in effect for the next roughly 20 minutes or so. And then we have that one over Tennessee for Chester, Decatur, Henderson, and Madison in effect for roughly the next 45 minutes or so until 11:30 local time. Let me get rid of both of those. So I just want to be sure, I wanted to check in with you guys that we were doing a live here. Things were really starting to blow up on us earlier today. And I'm sure you saw my radar storm chaser, Aaron Jajak's coverage all throughout the day today. You want to talk about one of the hardest working guys in storm chasing. I mean, that guy's been kicking some serious butt here, and has been just really been covering these storms amazingly. At Aaron Jajak on Twitter, at AARONJAYJACK, Aaron Jajak. I highly suggest that you follow him on Twitter. He is a rock star. Again, I'm looking here in the chat. My text is a little small here. Let me pull these up. I'm going to leave, Damien, the radar up here. You can take me in a two-shot, but it really doesn't matter. This is really the important stuff here. We want to look at these tornado warnings. The red box is there. That's what we're going to keep watching. Just want to be sure if there's anything I'm missing here in the chat. We've got Bob watching in Jackson, Tennessee. Bob, I hope that you are prepared to potentially enact your safety plan there. We've got Scott here talking about heavy rain. Yeah, that's another thing. That's a great point there, Scott. A lot of rain has fallen over this area of the country over the last 2 weeks. So when you're talking about a flash flooding threat, it is certainly there. Good news is that we haven't seen a ton of that today, at least on a large scale, but isolated incidents of flash flooding, certainly something that you want to watch out for. And of course, we always have to say this. If you drive up to a flooded roadway, turn around. Don't drown. That is, I know it may sound silly, but it only takes really a little bit of water to literally lift your car up and wash it away. Okay, so we have somebody asking in the chat about PNW storms. Are you referring to the Pacific Northwest? That's when I hear PNW, that's what I hear. Let me double check here. Forgive me, a lot of our attention here has been on rather the southern United States. Yeah, in the Tri-Cities area in southeastern Washington. I actually used to live there. Shout out to Eastern Washington. A high wind warning in effect for the next 8 hours. That extends all the way across the northern tier of the United States. I apologize. We are going to be talking about these tornado warnings over the southern United States. So probably not a lot of Pacific Northwest talk unless there is a tornado warning issued there. Apologies. But again, we are looking here at the southern United States. We have these pair of tornado warnings that are in effect for the next 25 to 30 or so minutes. Let me pull both of them up again. I'm clicking on the one in the bottom left. Let me get rid of that. This is the one over Mississippi, DeSoto, Lafayette, Marshall, and Panola counties. That is in effect until 11:15 Central Time. And then we have this one here over Tennessee, Chester, Decatur, Henderson, Madison, in effect until 11:30 local time. That is what these are the pair of tornado warnings that we are watching here. Again, let me jump over to the velocity scans. Again, this is going to show us whether or not we're seeing that rotation couplet. And really what I mean when I say that is when you're starting to see the confluence here of the greens and the reds. Again, the green representing winds going toward the radar site, which in this case is in Mississippi here, and then the red representing winds going away from the radar site. So when you start to see this happening, in fact, when I put it in motion, you'll kind of really see it. Let me zoom in even a little closer here. And you'll kind of start to see a little bit of spin, right? I mean, that's showing us the rotation in the atmosphere here. So if I rewind it, especially watch this right back here, okay? So I'm going to start right over near Falcon. I want you to pay close attention to that right there. Can you kind of see how that is kind of following along with the radar scan and just staying, I don't want to say mixed there, but keeping up with that blend of the green and the red there, that confluence there? That is at least the beginnings there of that couplet when you start to see the coming together of the colors there. Let me put a loop in here. Maybe going a little too fast for us, but this will give us, again, a look at what the National Weather Service is keying in on here. If I throw the warning back up. Okay, just going to zoom out here. Again, we have these pair of tornado warnings, both of which are in effect. This is the same storm system that did produce a tornado earlier this evening in DeWitt, Arkansas. Let me jump over again. The correlation coefficient, this is going to show if anything's being lofted vertically. I don't suspect that we're going to see anything that's going to really jump out at us here, being that you would really want to use this product when you have a tornado on the ground, when you can verify that. And that, of course, right now is not the case. Good. That is good news, of course. We don't have any indications of a tornado on the ground. I've got well, hold on just 1 second here. Let me zoom things out a little bit. Yeah, that's the line that we are watching. We might indeed go back up here. So again, these are the communities that are in this tornado warning. That is that red color there. So we're switching between two radar sites. That's what's happening if you're noticing the jump. So we'll want to watch this one here. Let me switch over to the velocity scan here. The fact in this one, where did it go? It's jumping away from me. This one right here. That right there is an area that we are watching closely here, right over Henderson. Again, you need to be in your safe place. I mentioned this kind of at the beginning of the broadcast here. The people that live in this tornado warning, if you are in a tornado warning, you need to be ready to act. And this right here, I'm going to key in on here on the correlation coefficient, and that really is going to confirm here whether or not we see that debris. It's like blinking right there to the southeast of Lexington, but not anything that is really jumping out, but could be showing us a little bit there, right there near Henderson. So again, we're going to keep our eye on this guy. Again, for the folks that live in those communities, you need to be in your safe place. Apologies, folks. We've got the graphics up there. I'm not leaving you here. It's really this nasty line here near Holly Springs. I keep jumping between the two, but this line right here likely throwing out some really significantly strong winds, enough alone, let alone a tornado, to cause some damage. So let me jump back here. How many tornadoes have touched down today, Damien? Was that the question? I do not have that answer for you, at least right now. It's a lot. I mean, over the past couple of weeks, seemingly. And that's something that I know my radar storm chaser, Aaron Jajak, was asking earlier, what the record is for the number of tornadoes that have touched down in March. And that got me thinking, too. I want to get back to everybody on that answer, because that is a really great question. But I just am unsure of the answer. I don't want to give you the incorrect information. Let's jump back here. Again, we're watching both of these storms here. Again, for the people that live in this red polygon here, you need to be in your safe place. Ripley, Holly Springs, Abbeville, Abbeville, that's my best guess, apologies. You need to be in your safe place if you are in this polygon here, especially for the folks that, again, we are watching here. There is rotation. That is going to be the key here, whether or not we do see anything on the ground. At least this same system did produce a tornado earlier this afternoon over DeWitt, Arkansas. And that is what we are watching super duper closely here. So it looks like that tornado warning there for Lexington, Tennessee, Henderson, and Parsons, very likely going to be extended here until 11:30 local time for the next half an hour. Let's double check that here. We'll click on it. Yeah, until 11:30. That again, it's Chester counties, Decatur County, and Henderson County. Right now, moving toward Darden. I really want to jump back toward this storm here. Again, you're getting that outflow. I'll draw it here, right? You're getting that, which is the beginnings of what could be a hook echo. At least that's what you need. That's essentially the radar picking up on this overshooting top, right? We're talking only the biggest and baddest thunderstorms here get this overshooting top. This is a big storm. The question is whether or not it puts anything down, and that is what we are watching. There is indication from the National Weather Service that there is rotation here, and if we look here at that, let me get rid of the warning. You can see kind of right in here-ish, near Parsons. There's also an area back here toward Luray. Again, this product, this is the velocity. This is showing us winds going toward and away from the radar site. In this case, it is Nashville, Tennessee, where the radar is coming from. So that green is showing us winds going toward it in that direction. Red, the opposite direction. So when you start to see things like this and back here, that is indicative of some rotation, right? So that is why we use this product. You pretty much flip between, really, if you only have the option to look, if you really could only look at two products, looking at reflectivity, showing us the precipitation here, and the velocity. Hugely, hugely important when it comes to tornadic development. Okay, just want to be sure I'm not missing anything here for you. Let me, again, we will put a track on this. That is what I'm going to do here for you. Darden, Busseltown, Linden, my namesake, Cagletown, and only all of those communities. I mean, only in Linden, you are not in the tornado warning, but you are out ahead of it. And the way that this storm has been, they've continued to extend this tornado warning out. So there is the possibility that those communities may be soon in this warning. But right now we are focused on, if I zoom in here, the red color, that is the polygon. Shout out to meteorologist James Spann from Alabama, one of the most legendary local meteorologists in the United States. Respect the polygon. That's his saying, and he's darn right. You have to respect this polygon. If you are in it, again, Darden, Henderson, Lexington, Luray, Parsons, you are all in this tornado warning. You need to be in your safe place. That is because, again, there is a tornado warning that is in effect for your area. We will see whether or not that gets extended out farther. Right now, this is in effect until 11:30 Central Time. That's the next 25 minutes for that location of Tennessee. Of course, Tennessee, this section right here is under, again, from the Storm Prediction Center, an enhanced risk for severe weather. In fact, we're already in Sunday, folks. We've crossed midnight, at least on the East Coast. So again, tomorrow, another day with some enhanced risk for the far eastern coast. That is what we will definitely be watching tomorrow. Mother Nature, just March. What a month it has been here in the second half of the month. We hope that this is not indicative of the way things are going to be heading into the real heart of severe weather season into April and May. Again, we're watching these two tornado warnings. The red boxes there. You can see them, and here I'll mess with the transparency. Can you see them? Those red boxes there? Those are the tornado warnings. I just want to kind of lighten up the color a little bit so we can kind of see through it a little bit, especially so we can get a better look at those storms. Again, we've got these two lines, both advancing across northern Mississippi and across Tennessee. In fact, the tornado warning there over Holly Springs, that is Mississippi. And then the one up there near Clifton and Jackson, that is into Tennessee. Again, I zoom things out here and you really get a better idea of it, but we're just in so close. When you're talking about severe weather, I mean, knowing county lines is going to be hugely, hugely important, especially when you're talking about, again, a severe thunderstorm. So again, some good news that these storms are seemingly kind of coming together into the main lines. Again, still capable of producing some really nasty winds, large hail, a lot of rain, that's for sure. But when we're talking about a tornado, potentially a strong one, you really want to see those storms off on their own. And then the good news, again, the silver lining here is that we are not seeing that. These storms are kind of part of these complex of storms. Again, you can see a little bit of that rotation here. We'll see if they extend this out. But again, not a strong signal of rotation there over Mississippi. And if we go here to the storm in Tennessee, again, not a super strong indication of rotation here. So that is it's a good sign, very, very good sign. But again, we're not out of the woods. That does not mean that you are out of the woods just yet. Again, for the people that live in these two tornado warned areas, you need to be in your safe place. Again, I will throw up the communities here. Let's jump over to this one here in Darden. And again, you can see this line, this kind of complex of storms coming together. some strong winds, boy, in there. So again, this is tracking in this direction. So let me grab my tool here for you. We'll extend that out. Only Centerville, Dixon, Fairview. These are the communities that need to, only Centerville and Dixon. You guys are up next, but right now, Darden, you are in this tornado warning. You need to be in your safe place. Lexington, Parsons, it's seemingly right on top of you right now, at least a lot of rain and wind. Okay, so Damien just jumped in my ear in here and said in Jackson, we're talking Jackson, Mississippi, Damien? Tennessee, okay, that's what I thought. All right, yeah, in Jackson, Tennessee, right up in here. Said the siren there has been going off for roughly 10 minutes. Tornado sirens are good, but you do not want to rely on a tornado or on a tornado siren to kind of be the indicator for you to get to your safe place. You need to have at least two ways of getting notifications. A NOAA weather radio is fantastic. You can literally have that thing plugged in and have it turned on during a severe weather event, and that will give you all of the warnings that come out from the National Weather Service at the minute. Or, of course, you can get all of your notifications from the My Radar app. We will send all of those severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings to you to keep you alerted and to keep you ahead of the storm. Again, two ways to have these warnings. Super duper important when you are talking about tornado warnings. Again, we've got the red boxes here. Those are the two tornado warnings in effect. We have the one there over Darden and the next one over Holly Springs. The good news is here, again, I have to keep talking about the good news that we are not seeing any pronounced hook echoes on the radar. Again, that's going to be the real telltale sign that when you start to see that hook coming off of the back end of the V notch, when you start to see the hook, that is a big indicator that Mother Nature's trying to get going, and likely the presence there of a funnel cloud. The good news is that we are not seeing that right now, despite the two tornado warnings. This is very likely the reason why these are up here, because the National Weather Service, again, have seen these storms produce tornadoes earlier this afternoon, earlier this evening, as this line continues to track its way eastward. Just trying to jump around here, folks. This is the beautiful thing about going live here. I literally looking at things here on social media. I'm looking at your chat. I'm looking at the radar here. Damien, is there anything going on there on that weather stem camera in Nashville? I mean, we should start to see now, as those storms really push into the Nashville metro there, you'll start to see some of that nasty lightning. We don't have to take the camera if we're not seeing anything there, especially considering it's so late at night. But if we see that, oh, and there you go. That tornado warning over Darden, they have expired that. They have gotten rid of it. Again, that just goes to show you that, again, there isn't that strong presence of radar indication there anymore. We were looking at the reflectivity. We were looking at the correlation coefficient. We're just not seeing it. We are, on one hand, though, seeing that bow echo. We're not seeing the hook echo. We're seeing the bowing happening there, right? That is indicative of very strong winds. So that's one thing to understand there. But now we're going to jump back to this tornado warning. Just let me zoom out here, make sure that we are not missing one. We are not. It is this guy here. This is the tornado warning now, the sole one left. Let me click on it here. We'll get you the numbers. Well, there are actually two of them. There's one on the bottom there, set to expire there here in the next 3 minutes. So we'll likely see that one expire. But it's this guy here out ahead. Ashland, Blue Mountain, Holly Springs, Ripley. Again, these are the counties: Benton, Lafayette, Marshall, and Tippah. These are all under a tornado warning until 11:45 local time, the next half an hour. But just like that storm there moving into Tennessee, you're seeing the same thing, right? You're seeing the bow echo. You're not seeing the hook echo. Certainly doesn't mean that you're not going to get blasted with some strong winds. That's what that is right there, that bow echo. That's that signature, but you're not seeing the hook echo, and that is the key here. Let me jump over to the velocity scan, and again, velocity is going to show us winds going in opposite, or show us winds going in two different directions. Green representing wind going toward the radar site, and red representing wind going away from it. We're just going to drop the warning here for just a second, just so we can get a look here. And again, you're seeing the speckling right here and here and here, but you're not seeing a super strong couplet, right? I mean, you believe me, it would stick out like a sore thumb. If you were watching our live streams over the past couple of days, there was that storm, that tornado that was on the ground for, gosh, 90 to 100 miles, right? That one stuck out for sure. Oh my gosh, over Pelham, Alabama. Gosh, there were just so many. Let me zoom out here. And we'll go back to the reflectivity. Okay, Damien is talking in my ear here, folks. He's saying that you can kind of see the lightning there on. All right, we're gonna switch to the Nashville camera here. Damien, if you can take both of them though, we don't want to lose the radar here. Let's leave that up. So we can do a 2-shot here. Perfect. Woo! We got a light show, folks, over Nashville, Tennessee. Again, we're still watching this tornado warning over the Holly Springs area here. I'll jump back in for sure if we see anything. But yeah, you're looking at a camera here, courtesy of our partners from WeatherStem. Look at that. Big lightning. Big lightning over the city of Nashville. That's at the Vanderbilt University camera, courtesy of our partners at WeatherStem. So that's out ahead of that main line. So it's still going to be a long night, folks. This is far from over, really. In fact, a tornado watch remaining in effect for many places here until 1 and 4 a.m. in some locations. It's pretty much for this area that we are watching here because these storms still rolling and we got more coming in from the west. So again, I gave an all clear earlier before, but that was simply for that tornado warning, not to be done with the active weather. We are not done with that by a long shot. Still have ways to go, folks. It's going to be a long evening. So that's why, again, you need to have the ability to get you have to be ability to be able to get the warnings. Okay, I'm just looking over here on social media. I want to be sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, I am not. Cool. All right. So again, this is that main line that we are watching right now. It's not showing that hook echo. It's showing the bowing out, which is not indicative of a tornado. That is indicative of strong winds. And again, let me click on this tornado warning. This is in effect until 11:45 local time. Again, the counties Benton, Lafayette, Marshall, and Tippah. The cities Ashland, Blue Mountain, Holly Springs, and Ripley. In effect until 11:45 local time. That is the main line there. I'm going to jump over here to the velocity scan. Again, this is just going to show us those winds. And I mean, again, you're starting to see it's messy. It's not a clear sign of rotation. Okay, yeah, you can pull that camera up, Damien. We'll do both here. In fact, if you can switch them, if we can do the radar in full with the WeatherStem camera there in picture, that would be awesome. Again, that's the Vanderbilt University camera, courtesy of our partners at WeatherStem. That's out ahead of that line in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Again, for those of you that are still watching us, thank you very much for joining us. Again, if you know people that live in these communities, Holly Springs, Ripley, Potts Camp, Ashland, Faulkner, all of these locations, you need to be able to get into your safe place. Again, that is going to be a central location of your home. If you have a basement, awesome. If not, a centrally located hall, closet, bathroom, the crawl space under a flight of stairs. Put a bicycle helmet on, put a mattress over your head, a blanket. I know that this might sound like a lot. It might sound alarmist. It is not meant to be alarmist. These are literally measures that could save your life. So better to have that plan and be ready to act quickly. All right, Damien is in my ear here and saying that we're getting some YouTube comments here. Let me pull them up. Apologies, I'm just looking at a million different things here. Yeah, Jacob is saying the warning in front of Holly Springs extended 30 minutes. The warning behind was expired. Yep, we are watching that one here. So yeah, literally just as I literally turned my head over here, Ashland, Faulkner, Ripley, you are now in that tornado warning. Let's see what else we've got here. Rebecca here saying Pelham is 10 miles from us. I figure you're talking about Alabama. It was awful weather. Oh my gosh, it was. You put in a tornado shelter today. Hey, good for you. Hopefully you never have to use it. That is the goal there. Let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, Jacob saying it looks like the storm is bowing. Yep, exactly. Straight line winds. Bingo, 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 bingo. That is correct. So again, what Jacob's talking about here, we've kind of been talking about that here for about the past, I don't know how long we've been on for, but it's all good. We'll stay with you. This line right here, that is a radar signature. Again, if you think about it like a bow and arrow, right? Like this, when you pull back on a bow, it bends, right? Kind of like when a fishing pole, when it has a fish on it, when the pole starts to bend. Essentially what you're seeing here is the radar indicating these winds are so strong, they're rushing out ahead of that boundary line. And that's how it's reflecting back here on the radar. We're looking at reflectivity, right? So the radar sends the beam out, it bounces and hits anything in the atmosphere, the precipitation, the water vapor in the air, and flies back to the radar, right? At different tilt levels. So reflectivity, that is what we are seeing here, showing us the precipitation. And when you see this signature here over the Holly Springs area, this tornado warning, this is more indicative of straight line winds, not necessarily indicative of a tornado. We'll jump back to the storm velocity. Again, this is going to show us the potential for rotation. And this right here, if I drop the warning off, is likely why you are seeing that right in here, why you are seeing, and up into here as well, why you are seeing that tornado warning getting extended, because there is at least the presence right here. You are seeing the presence of that rotation. So whether or not it's putting down a tornado, that we do not know here looking at the radar, but these locations here, especially here near Potts Camp, you need to be in your safe place. That right there could potentially be the beginnings of something. That is what we are watching. Again, just because it's bowing out there doesn't mean it's impossible to put down a tornado. Potts Camp, Gravestown, Ripley, Faulkner, Blue Mountain, you need to be in your safe place. You still have 7 to near 55 minutes. Again, you need to be willing, you need to be ready to act here. That's why it's good to know that place to go to, because once, any kind of panic starts to set in, you may not be thinking as clearly as you would if you knew your plan. I like to relate it to going to the supermarket, right? Without a grocery list. I'm certainly guilty of this, going to the supermarket and forgetting a bunch of things because I didn't have a list. I didn't write it down. I wasn't prepared. So that is what you need to do. Again, this is starting to show a little stronger signs here of rotation. You can really see it popping out now, right? It's messy, but that's what we're watching here. All right, so I just saw that comment there in the chat there, Damien, from Lori. Her son is in Nashville for the weekend. No, this is not near Nashville. This is to the southwest of it. In fact, I zoom out here. I lost it. Yeah, this is still Mississippi. Let me pull the warning back up. Again, Ashland, Blue Mountain, Holly Springs, Ripley. That tornado warning, Lori, earlier for the Tennessee area, that did expire. Not out of the woods, though. Not done yet. But that one did expire. But right now we are right there on the Mississippi line. If I zoom out again, you can see the state lines there. So there's Tennessee, right? We are right there on the line, like as close as you can get. So this line is interesting. We'll jump over to the correlation coefficient. I don't think we're going to see anything really stand out here. This again is going to show us if anything is being lofted into the atmosphere. And again, nothing really jumping out at us, which is a good sign. The correlation coefficient really going to stand out if we're talking a significant tornado and the presence of a debris ball, meaning all the debris that the storm is picking up and literally the radar begins to pick up on it. It's kind of similar to when you, in some instances on clear mornings, where radars will actually pick up flocks of birds sometimes. That is used specifically especially during a tornadic situation where you can see that debris ball. So again, this is what we are watching here. Right here. All right, Damien, you just said that Wirecast potentially went down. I mean, I think we're still streaming here, which is good. Folks in the chat. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, freak me out there for a second, Damien. We're good. All right, so again, this is the area that we're watching here that is under a tornado warning. See, I can flash the tornado warning on and off there. So this is likely the radar. There is the presence of rotation there. Lake Center, Potts Camp, out ahead there near Ashland. You need to be in your safe place. There is, again, radar indication of rotation. Just want to be sure that we're not seeing another one there getting issued out ahead of this in Tennessee. That is not the case. And again here, this is all part of this bowing line here. There is a lot of shear present in this atmosphere. Again, we have winds moving toward the northeast out of the southwest, but we have the jet stream rather. By the way, I am all jumbled up. The low-level jet, really forcing this thing coming in from the southwest. All right, and there you go. We just saw another one get issued. That is another tornado warning being issued here. Bethel Springs, Finger, Middleton, Selmer in Tennessee here. You need to be in your safe place. A tornado warning issued in effect for the next 45 minutes until midnight local time. That is that red box there. Hold on 1 second here. All right. Grab this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let's take a look at the rotation, or let's take a look at the reflectivity. Sorry, the velocity. My apologies. There we go. That's kind of the area that we were looking at there. Right to the southwest of Middleton, or to the west of Middleton. That is at least the rotation there. At least the presence of it here. My dog is snoring underneath my desk. I hope you cannot hear that. Okay, to the west there of Middleton. Hornsby, Selmer. Cool. You are in the tornado warning. Hornsby, Middleton, Selmer. Let me put a track on this here. We'll pull this out toward Morris Chapel there. Hebron, Selmer, Finger, Hickory Flats, Morris Chapel. You need to be in your safe place. You are under a tornado warning for the next half an hour or so. This is a rapidly changing situation here. I mean, you literally saw that tornado warning go up as we were talking here. Just want to be sure I'm not missing anything, folks. Yeah, Jacob, seeing some rotation near Lamar. Yep, that is... it's all part of this line. It's really an interesting one. Again, when you see these bowing lines here, it's not by any means impossible for a tornado to get put down from this, but this would certainly be more of the straight line wind situation. But again, taking things very seriously, especially when you are under a tornado watch, an enhanced risk from the Storm Prediction Center. This is an area of the country that has really seen a lot here over the past 2 weeks. The atmosphere is primed. Here we are, March 28th, just days after a significant tornado outbreak across Mississippi and Alabama. Here we are again. Tornadoes in Arkansas, excuse me, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, even Louisiana, Texas, under a tornado watch through this evening. All right, so again, there's that Boeing line here on the reflectivity. Okay. So we will keep, we will stay in the loop here. Just want to be sure that we are not seeing, we're not seeing the hook. That's the key here. That is of course when you would start to see or potentially have the presence of a funnel cloud, potentially a tornado on the ground, the presence of a hook echo. Again, there's that, there's the presence, excuse me, gosh, the presence of that rotation there to the west and to the southwest of Middleton. And there you can see that tornado warning has actually been extended. You can see this little notch that the National Weather Service, they must have just added this here, right here. That is another addition to the tornado warning. I'll click on it here. Yep, until for the next 15 minutes here. Ashland, Blue Mountain, Hickory Flat, Ripley. So a rapidly changing situation. And I mean, I'm here with you guys looking at the radar, but the folks at the National Weather Service, this is what they are doing at a much higher level, of course. They've got to issue the warnings. That is a really important job. I am just here to report them to you. But they are doing similar to what we are doing here, interrogating the radar. We are looking at two of the most important products that we can during a tornado, during a severe weather situation like this, reflectivity and velocity. We're looking at the velocity here, showing us the winds going in opposite directions. There's a little couplet right there. Had to mute my mic there. Apologies for a second. So again, Waterford, Waits, Potts Camp. You need to be in your safe place. There is the presence of rotation there on the radar. Let me zoom in again. Hickory Flat, Ripley, Ashland. I mean, regardless of whether or not you're under a tornado warning, it's likely going to be some super strong winds heading your way right now. Again, you need to be in a safe place, the centralmost location of your home. We'll hit this graphic one time, Damien, and then we'll get back to the radar. All right, a hall closet, stairs, underneath the crawl space of a flight of stairs, a bathroom, hall closet. A basement is the best place, but I know that not everybody, especially in the South, has a basement due to the water table being high. I live in Florida. We do not have basements here. So my safe place in my home is actually under the flight of stairs in my house. It's a small space, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that is the safe place for me and my family to go to. Me, my wife, my daughter, and my dogs, that is where we have gone when we have had tornado warnings issued at our house. Again, that is the place you want to go to. Bicycle helmets on your head can keep you protected. Blankets, a mattress, anything that you have to put over your head in the case of falling debris. That is really going to potentially be life-saving if you are in the midst of a tornado, or at least one on the ground near where you live. All right, so we are watching these tornado warnings here. I'm going to click on this one here on the bottom left corner of the screen here. This is in effect for the next 15 minutes local time. I'm going to stay with you here. And then this next one out ahead of it in effect for the next half an hour. That one is for Tennessee. We're talking Bethel Springs, Finger, Middleton, Selmer. You need to be in your safe place. And then for the folks in Mississippi, Ashland, Blue Mountain, Hickory Flat, Ripley. If these cities yeah, I'm seeing them, Damien. Just want to be sure here. We can't get too alarmist here. We need to stay very calm. I know when I was younger in my career, just getting excited about the presence of severe weather came through a little bit, but I'm trying my best to here stay as calm and collected as we can here. Yes, we are definitely seeing rotation. Let me throw up those warnings again, okay? And let me grab this. Jump in here. I'm going to make these a little more transparent, just a little bit, so we can see the outline of it there. And what I'm going to do is grab the tool, the pointer tool. That's still the map. Another severe thunderstorm warning. Literally just went up right here. This rotation, and then this guy right up here too. Is that another tornado warning that just went out? I think so here. Yep, I think so. Let me zoom on in. Yep, they looks like they just kind of connected the dots there. Yeah, right up to the line. They keep pushing that polygon right up to the line there. See this guy here up in Tennessee. It's likely going to switch from the Memphis radar here in just a moment to the Nashville radar. It's kind of right there in between both radar coverages. But if we look at the reflectivity, or rather the velocity, I keep getting them mixed up, my apologies. Right here, near Middleton, Tennessee. I'll drop the warnings here for you just for a moment. Yeah, that is the area we're watching right here. See that? See it, the bright color? It's really starting to stick out now, right? Green representing winds going one direction, red's going in the opposite, right? Green is showing winds going toward the radar site, which in this case I believe is in Mississippi. And red representing winds going away from it. So when you start to see this on the, excuse me, when you start to see this popping up on the velocity scan, it's showing us the tightening of the rotation there. So not a guarantee of a tornado, but certainly an indication of rotation there near Middleton. You need to be in your safe place. Middleton, Raymer, Selmer, Hornsby. You need to be in your safe place. The centrally most located portion of your home, a basement, is going to be a great place to be. Just double checking here. Want to be sure that this was not extended as we were just talking here. Nope, same time until midnight local time. And I am here with you here. Again, I'm meteorologist Mike Linden. We got Damian McFarland there, who has really been rocking things over these past couple of days. Big shout out to Damian. Show him some love in the chat. Damian and Matt, I should say. And shout out to Chris, one of our editors too. Big shout out to everybody helping us out over these past couple of days. It has been wild, but this is what we are here for. Again, we're watching this area right in here too. You can start to see that kind of tightening of the rotation. Notice as I was just talking here over Grand Junction, I'm circling my mouse and you can't even see it. Right here over Grand Junction, that severe thunderstorm warning literally just expired. But we're going to keep an eye here on these two tornado warnings here. We definitely have some tightening rotation here as we speak. Right up in here and then right here. So we have Mississippi here for the southwestern, in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And then we have this guy up here in Tennessee. Go back to the reflectivity here. Apologies. They brought that one back. Okay, that right. Just we're talking, man. There's another one. That tornado warning, Mississippi, Drew, Mound Bayou, Rosedale, and Shelby. That is in effect until 12:15 local time. That's roughly the next half an hour. There at the back end of that. Let's take a look there at that rotation to see if we can spot anything. And yeah, you're seeing it a little bit for sure, right there. Gunnison, Shelby, Marigold, Drew. You need to be in your safe place. That is some indication there of some rotation there on the radar. I'm going to switch over to the correlation coefficient just here for a moment. Just want to see. This is going to show us whether or not we're seeing anything being lofted into the atmosphere. This is going to show us whether or not there is potentially the presence of a debris ball. I mean, it's, again, not really standing out. I mean, you saw it the other day. I mean, this is definitely a strong thunderstorm here for sure, and it's got the potential to become something here. So we will keep an eye on it. Again, you have that V notch, right? At least it's trying to happen here. It's trying to get going, but it's losing the battle here to these storms up in here, right? These storms. I'm using the straight line tool. Let me grab the other one here. These storms up here, They want the storm down here. They want to link up with that storm. They want to share all this energy here. Meanwhile, this guy here wants to stay by itself. Tornado warned storms, severe thunderstorms are very selfish. They want all of what is available to themselves to grow nice and strong. It's like when you get out of bed in the morning and you're stretching. I mean, imagine if you were stretching and you hit a ceiling immediately. It's not comfortable, right? It's essentially what's happening when those storms are gaining up in this big line here. They want that room to grow. They don't want that cap in the atmosphere. They don't want to share the available potential energy with the other storms around them. So again, we have a trio of tornado warnings, all in effect for different places there. Whoa, what was that? I flicked my mouse. We went into outer space there for a second. Let's go back here. All right, so we've got 2 tornado warnings in effect for the state of Mississippi. We've got that one over Marigold, and then the one to the north of Oxford there where Ole Miss is. And then we have this tornado warned storm here over western Tennessee to the south of Jackson and to the southwest of Lexington and Linden, Tennessee. So we'll just go through all of them again. Got this tornado warning in effect until 1 a.m. Bethel Springs, Finger, and Hornsby. You need to be in your safe place. If I just said a community where you live, that is one of them. We'll go back to this one here. This one on the board. Wow. Literally as we just... It's the magic of weather, folks. It is Mother Nature's reality television show, right? Just as we were telling you to get into your safe place. I mean, better to be in there than not, right? Right up in here, this tornado warning is now expired for Tennessee. Things are moving fast, folks. A rapidly evolving situation here. But as I was telling you, these storms don't want to be in that line. Now, you could certainly be running into some strong wind there in Tennessee, and you are not out of the woods yet in terms of the potential for additional tornado warnings. But when it comes to the possibility of a tornado, at least the National Weather Service erring on the side of caution there and expiring that tornado warning. So now we are left with 2, both in Mississippi. This one here on the line over Drew, Mound Bayou, Rosedale, Shelby, looking a little more potent there on the reflectivity. And then we've got this other tornado warning more toward the northern portion of the state, Ashland, Blue Mountain, Hickory Flat, and Ripley. You need to be in your safe place. We're going to take a look once again here. We're going to switch to the reflectivity. I have to rotate. The velocity. Gosh, I keep getting them mixed up. Apologies, folks. But I really appreciate you guys staying with us here this evening. So again, we look on the reflectivity. I said it again. On the velocity scan. I'm just going to flash the warnings here so you see them. The yellow is severe thunderstorm. Red, tornado. So you're seeing kind of right up in here, right? No super tight couplets. There's a lot of rotation here, but kind of weak rotation. Nothing that is, at least as of right now, putting anything down. That is good. We'll go back and look at this one here. This is coming from that same line that, again, earlier this evening in Arkansas here. Let me grab the pointer. Right here, just to the east of 165 near DeWitt, there was video earlier today of a tornado. Whether or not it is confirmed, we'll have to wait from the National Weather Service there, but at least on video, that is what we saw. Again, here over 278, 49 west and east, Glendora, Cleveland, Shelby. You need to be in your safe place. You can kind of see right here, right? See a little bit of weak rotation here, but right in here, starting to see it kind of in this vein right here. Again, Shelby, Cleveland, Shaw's to the south. You're not in the tornado warning, but certainly be alert here. But again, Cleveland, Shelby, you need to be in your safe place. Let me zoom in here. Mound Bayou, Pace, especially for the folks that live in Pace. I mean, you're talking about some rotation, some radar indicated rotation right here. So Pace, Mound Bayou, Cleveland, and Drew. Shelby as well. If I literally named any of these communities, you need to be in your safe place. If you know people that live in those communities, give them a call. Give them a call and let them know that that is where they need to be. I'm just going to go back and check over here. I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth, ping-ponging a little bit. All right, Daryl just commented here. He said, I'm going a little too fast. Daryl, I apologize here. It's a very rapidly evolving situation here. Literally, as I'm talking about one tornado, and the other one is either getting extended or it's expiring. Get your comment there in the chat. I'll try my best to answer any of your questions as they come in here. But we are watching these two storms here, especially. Again, we're switching between the reflectivity, which is when you open up my radar, this is what you're going to see by default. This is going to show you the presence of precipitation, right? And then the other product I was looking at was velocity, which you can also do in the My Radar app with the Pro Radar feature, with the per station radar, I should say. So we're looking here at Cleveland, Shelby, Mound Bayou, Pace. So right here, you can see I'm drawing with the yellow, right? You guys can see that there. Imagine like a bow and arrow, right? That is a bow echo radar signature, meaning we're seeing some strong winds here out ahead of this. Whether or not it's putting down a tornado, we can tell you just from looking at that radar signature. And you now at home, when you see a signature like this, when you start to see that bowing happening here, that is indicative of some strong winds. So I bet the folks in Glendora, Drew, the trees near them are probably starting to sway because those winds are out ahead of that main line. Doddsville as well, probably feeling those stronger winds. The issue here, again, and why this environment is so conducive to tornadoes is the fact that the direction in which these winds right now are moving, the line wants to trek to the east. I mean, we have this giant cold front here, this big cold front right here, and it is kind of moving this way, right? Meanwhile, you have the jet stream here coming in hot from the southwest and pushing so strong winds. The jet stream, we're talking winds that are way upstairs, kind of like a marionette, right? Like with a puppet, kind of pulling the strings a little bit. So you have the front pushing to the east. Meanwhile, you have the winds from the jet coming in from the southwest. So you're getting a very sheared environment. You have those winds acting upon each other and you're getting the spin. So unless I'm losing my mind here, which could very well be possible, but I don't think so. That tornado warning over northern Mississippi did expire. Okay, so that is good. Holly Springs, New Albany, Como, Oxford, you are no longer under the tornado warning. I'm just going to zoom out way again here. We're good. Zoom back in. So we're going to watch this one here. I'm going to double check. I believe this is for the next 15 minutes. This tornado warning is here with you. Oh, they extended it. Okay, so for the next half an hour. Again, likely because of the presence of that rotation that we looked at. Let me switch back over to that. We're going to jump back over here. Yeah, I would have to guess that it is because of the presence of that rotation. Starting to kind of fade a little bit. Let me do this. Here's what we're going to do, folks. I'm going to drop this warning real quick. And I'm just going to go real slow. You see that right there? Let me go back. See that near Shelby? Right here? This was about 16 minutes ago. That is the presence of some rotation. Let's keep going. There you go, right? So you're starting to see it. It's trying, right? It's really trying. Here, here, and here, yeah, here, but really here and here. Let's keep pushing this out. So that's where we're at right now. Right here to the west of Cleveland, Marigold, Ruleville, Drew. You need to be in your safe place. Pace, I called you out about 10 minutes ago. You need to be in your safe place. You are under a tornado warning. And again, that is what we are looking at here. Shreveport, Louisiana, that person is saying in the chat here. You do have some tornado warnings, or severe thunderstorm warnings that are up there over Shreveport. You know what? As we're doing this here, we're going to zoom back in. You're gonna hear me typing here for a second. We're gonna stay on this. Stay with me here, Damien. Don't leave me. I'm going to go to the radar here, and we are going to edit some things. We're going to lose. I'm going to switch out one of my radar sites here. I can only show you a couple of them at one time, of course, as we switch to a bunch. And I'm going to add in, just in the off chance we see something happen there, or Shreveport. Let's add that in. Cool. So that's going to take a second. We'll look at that in a minute. Thanks for calling that one out. Who was that? That was Geo. Big shout out to Geo. I'm unsure where that oh, YouTube. Big shout out to Geo. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Sir or madam, thank you very much for calling that one out. I mean, that is an area we were watching earlier. There was some nasty stuff there earlier this afternoon. But again, this goes to show you. I mean, I mentioned this earlier. This just goes to show you. I mean, here on the East Coast, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Here for folks that live in the Central Time Zone, it's almost midnight, right? There's no sun. There is no sun. You don't need me to tell you that. There's no sun. But these storms still firing. Just because there is no sun doesn't mean you can't see a tornado. In fact, I don't want to argue with you here, but I'd argue that this is even a bit of a, scarier situation in the fact that you can't see it, even if it were on the ground, right? Let alone the fact if it were wrapped in rain, the fact that there's no sun, you can't see, right? When I was working in Pennsylvania on my birthday, June 13th, when I was working in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, a tornado touched down 2 miles from the TV station that I was working at. And that was, what time was it? It was 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night, EF2 tornado. So again, just goes to show you that even though we're here, it's really late at night, early in the morning, depending on where you are. Just goes to show you that you can still see a tornado, even this late at night. So again, that's what we're looking at here. Just to the west of Cleveland there. You need to be in your safe place. Pace, you also, you definitely need to be in your safe place. Mound Bayou, Drew, Shelby, these are all the communities right now that are in a tornado warning. There is that rotation. You can really see it. Remember, green showing winds going toward the radar. Which one do we have up right now? That is, where are we getting the data from? Columbus, Mississippi. So again, for the folks that, I believe it was Daryl earlier, you said I was going a little too fast. I will try to explain this here, and I will try to go slowly. You can see the radar beam. It just passes there, right? Green is going to show winds going toward that radar in Columbus, Mississippi. Red, right in here, that's winds going in the opposite direction, or at least away from the radar site. So, of course, when you get wind going this way and you get wind going this way up in the atmosphere, that's how you can start to get that rotation. The question is whether or not that rotation begins to work its way toward the ground. And of course, that's how you get a funnel cloud and potentially a tornado. So Pace, Cleveland, Marigold, Drew, Ruleville, these are all the areas that right now we are seeing some rotation, a tornado, at least radar indicated here. We're seeing the rotation. And let me zoom in on it here. We'll look at the reflectivity. This storm kind of has the benefit of being off on its own a little bit. It's away from its main line just a little. You definitely have this V-notch, and yet you kind of are starting to see it trying to hook out a little bit, right? You're seeing that happening. We definitely can see that when we switch back here, right? You can definitely see the presence of that rotation here. So this is why we are paying super close attention to this storm now, because that is, again, kind of away from the main line. It doesn't really have much of anything here behind it. It's got this guy here way to the southwest of it, but enough real estate that it has the potential to be off on its own here. So we are going to stay on this storm here for a moment here. Again, you get that V notch, right? That is that overshooting top, right? That is a big storm. That's not only very tall, but it's notching out. In fact, here, let me grab the, we'll see if we can slice here. We'll see if it will work. Yeah. I haven't used this yet, folks. I wanted to use this here. I'm unsure whether or not we're running into an issue, whether or not, because it's capping it there at 20 to 30,000 feet. But that just goes to show you, these are some big boy thunderstorms, right? Yeah, something seems to be happening with the 3D volume scan here. But again, you can see, let alone the fact we might be having an issue here with the scans, you can see It's trying to climb up there. Let's go back to the let's go back to the velocity here to see that rotation. So again, the fact that we know that this is starting to kind of shoot out like this with that V notch, and couple that with the fact that we're starting to see the rotation here at the back end, that is the reason why there is a reason to keep an eye on this here, because you're starting to see the signs of tornado genesis here. Just looking at the comments here. Folks, when you're giving me a location, I'm seeing a couple of them here. Just make sure, unless it's a major city, like I see someone asking here in Nashville. I know you're talking about Nashville, Tennessee, but Greenwood there, Ashley, I just need to know what state you were referring to. Daryl says, now it makes a lot of sense. Thanks for, hey man, that's what we're here for. I appreciate it very much. If we can even educate one person, that's what we're here for. And I'm here with you to track this tornado warned storm right now over Mississippi. I'm just going to pull up the text here from the National Weather Service. Drew, Mound Bayou, Rosedale, Shelby. These are the communities, the cities that are in this tornado warning. Roughly 11 or so thousand people. This storm away from the main line too. So that is why we are watching it. I mean, you have this big mess pushing into Tennessee. Severe thunderstorm warnings going up out ahead of this. This likely to just be some straight line winds there to the southwest of Memphis and kind of pushing toward Tupelo. Man, can we give the people of Mississippi and Alabama a break? Jeez, over these past couple of days. Come on now. So again, we're watching this particular line here. I just want to double check. I don't think that it has been extended beyond 12:15 local time. No, it hasn't. Okay, cool. I just want to be sure. And that is the red box there that we are watching. That is the tornado warning. The National Weather Service extending that severe thunderstorm out to cover Glendora and Charleston. The question is whether or not they are going to extend the tornado warning. So they just shrunk it, literally as I was talking, right here. This is a teeny little box here. In fact, if I go into the warnings, just for a moment, I'm going to turn off the severe thunderstorm, just for a moment. And we're going to go into the here. I'm doing this all on the fly, folks. You're seeing how the sausage is made. See that red box? That's the tornado warning. That's the polygon, okay? Shelby, Tutwiler, you're not in it, Tutwiler, but boy, is it close to you. I always like to err on the side of caution, but especially for the folks that are in the polygon there. Shout out to James Spann. You need to respect the polygon. Let's switch over to the reflectivity here. I said it again, the velocity scan. Let's go in here. And again, you can see it, right? Let me bring it back. We'll zoom out a little bit. This is just the last 15 or so minutes. You can kind of see it, right? The little specks. It's not a super strong signature. It was right there to the south of Gunnison, right? That was about 20 minutes ago, right here, right? That was like, okay, let's start to watch this guy here. That was a tornado warned storm. We keep pushing it out, and we're kind of losing that rotation a little bit. It kind of gets lost, right? It's kind of what I've been talking about here with that main line. It's getting grouped up now with that storm to the north of it in Clarksdale. While I'm sure the folks that live in this community, if they could literally press a button and get rid of all this, they definitely would. But, you know, if you had to choose between a tornado warned storm and a severe thunderstorm, or a severe thunderstorm warning, if you had to choose between them, I think the choice is clear, right? Ideally, none, right? Ideally, we want to see none. Damien, while I'm talking here, while we're out ahead of it there, if you want to take that Nashville WeatherStem camera and put it in a picture-in-picture there, I'm curious to see if we're seeing any lightning flashes there. You can still hear me, right, Damien? Just want to be sure. I haven't. You still there? Cool. I just want to be sure. Just want to be sure. All right. I know we're still live, but if I've been talking to myself here for a little while, just want to be sure I'm not going crazy. All right. Let's look at the reflectivity. I did it again, Damien. Come on now. The velocity. There it is. So again, you can see the signatures, right? You can see them trying to. It's trying, folks. This storm is really trying. It's It's late, right? There's no sun. There's no heating happening. You know what I mean? There's no active heating where it's really starting to help these things grow a little bit. We're just not seeing that. And that is a good thing. I'm going to zoom out here. Oh, there's another one. How about that? There we go. There's another one. It's that same line. All right, let's take a look at this one here. This is right on the line there, just barely into Tennessee there, but Corinth, Farmington, Glen, Kossuth. A tornado warning in effect for the next 15 minutes. So that's a real short one there. And let's see as to why they issued that for seemingly just 15 minutes. We look at the rotation, and you can kind of see why there. Let me get rid of the warning so you can see it too. Just a little bit there. I mean, it might sound nuts to say, but I'll show you here. Like here-ish. That's where you're starting to see that rotation a little bit. Let me pop the warning back on. Oh, for a second, I thought that was another one out there. Let me just refresh my sanity here. Okay, it's just the one. Just want to be sure here. Yeah, it's just that one. All right, cool. Velocity scan playing tricks on me. All right, let me go over here. Again, there is the potential rotation there. Kossuth, Corinth, Glen, you need to be in your safe place. Now is the time. Let me extend this out. Kossuth, Biggersville, Corinth, Farmington, Burnsville. Within the next 14 or so minutes, there is likely to be a tornado-warned storm right on top of you there. So you need to be in your safe place, the centrally located area of your home. All right, we still have this one here. I don't want to forget about this one because, again, this one's really trying. This is like the little engine that could here. Really trying to spit something out here. No way. Did it literally just expired as a... Nope, there it is. All right. Let's zoom in here. Shelby, Tutwiler, Glendora, Drew. I want to be sure they didn't extend that. Possible. Nope, 12:15. All right, so for the next 15 minutes here. So I keep thinking that we could end the stream here, Damien, but each and every time here, the rotation starts to spit up a little bit more. If we're not seeing that hooking happening here, we might start to wrap things up here. Don't need to go beyond that. Again, you're seeing again. Let me grab my pen tool here. Oops, that's the map. Right here, right? You're seeing that bowing kind of happening. Not significant, but it's definitely a line of thunderstorms. The issue is here that front is wanting to move this way, right? Wanting to move east. Big cold front. Meanwhile, you have the jet stream winds coming in from the southwest. So you have these two winds at the surface and winds aloft, acting opposite of one another. Damien says, there goes my sleep pattern. Amen to that, Damien. But hey, that is what we are here for. We are here for these days, sir. We are here for these days and nights and mornings. You get what I'm saying. All right, let's look at this line again. The key here is that not too long ago, in fact, if I bring this out, you'll see what I'm saying. Notice that storm was kind of off by itself, right? Then as we extend it out, notice how it begins to fill in a little bit up here, right? That's not even the area that's tornado warned, but you start to see it kind of fill in and join with the main line. And that means that it's starting to share some of its energy with the rest of these storms. So it's giving away some of its oomph to the storms up here near Clarksdale and Marks and Batesville. Not under a tornado warning, mind you. But that's because there's no rotation up there. But it adds to the fact as to why we are seeing that rotation beginning to weaken a little bit. But even this far out, I mean, you can see it, right? Drew, Glendora, you can see it right here, right? We do not know whether or not there is a tornado on the ground. But what we do know is that there is rotation just based on the velocity scan. I want to be sure that I am not missing anything here on Yeah, Aaron, J-Jack, our storm chaser, he tweeted out a video of that lightning over Nashville. I just retweeted it there so you guys can see that on the My Radar account. But here's the rotation that we're watching to the west of Drew. They're about to cross 49 west, Blue Lake, Dwiggins. You right now need to be in your safe place. It is seemingly right on top of you there, that rotation. Again, we do not know whether or not there is a tornado on the ground. But there is the rotation at least present. What a wild, wild month. Second half to it. Let's give the folks of Mississippi and Alabama a long break after this, I would say. Don't think that's going to be the case, though. Again, this is the storm that we are watching. We've got another 12 minutes or so on that tornado warning. I just want to double check this one here. We still got this one up here near Corinth. You can see that rotation right here. Grab the pointer right here. It's not a super strong couplet. And we're not seeing, again, the hooking happening here. This is kind of part of this complex. But that tornado warning in effect for the next 11 minutes. We will stay with you here. Corinth, let me zoom on in. They're on 72. Kossuth Glen, Corinth. Need to be in your safe place. That tornado warning in effect for the next 10 or so minutes. We jump back to this one here. And again, you can really see, if I switch back to this velocity, you can see that embedded rotation within the main line. And that is likely why the National Weather Service is continuing with this tornado warning. I'd be curious to see if they are going to extend it into Glendora and Charleston. Very likely that they are thinking about that literally as we speak, considering that there is the presence of rotation. That is a severe thunderstorm warned area. So we may very well see that get extended here within the next 10 minutes or so. Each time, Damien, I'm thinking about closing the stream here, we start to see the rotation popping up, and that's why I don't want to go yet. We're just going to stay here. Okay, let's take a look back at this one. We're just jumping between the storms here, folks. We've got two tornado warned storms. You can see them. Let me grab my pointer tool. Right here over western Mississippi, and this one right here over far northern Mississippi, right up on the Tennessee line. Both set to expire here in the next 10 minutes, but both have the presence of some rotation. We zoom in here. This one a little messier, but there, you can see right kind of on the far left side of the polygon there, the presence of it. Weak, but it's there. Then we go back to here, a little more pronounced, a little bit. Fitzhugh, Whitney, Blue Lake. You need to be in your safe place. A tornado warning in effect for those communities. And another reason why we're staying on with you guys here, why I haven't cut this short, is because just the history of this area over the past week or so, we have seen these storms. Hey, Kathleen, thanks for the hearts on Twitter. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Looking at the at this, man. Again, you can see it's a tricky one, right? Because this is where that line is right here when we switch to the reflectivity, and you can see these little pockets. It's trying so hard, this line. The atmosphere, the environment is conducive, definitely, but we're just not there's no follow through. But hey, we're good. I'm sure the people in Mississippi agree with me on that one. Yeah. What a week it's been. Damien, we didn't talk about this. Your family is good in eastern Mississippi, right? I mean, it's been a wild ride. This tornado warning, they're good. Excellent to hear. Marigold, Mound Bayou, Shelby, Winstonville, all under a tornado warning for the next 7 minutes. I'm curious to see whether or not the National Weather Service extends that eastward. We've got the pair of them here, one up near Corinth and then the other near 49, the other right along 45. Oh gosh, we got somebody in the chat here in Nashville saying his basement is flooding. Gosh, I am so sorry to hear that. So sorry to hear that. I hope everything is okay. Again, we talked about that at the beginning of the chat here, that's kind of gotten buried a little bit. Tornado is definitely a headline stealer when you're talking about severe weather, but gosh, flooding, especially with how wet things have been. And gosh, in Nashville and in central Tennessee, it has been raining and raining and raining all day and night today. So I am so sorry to hear that, buddy. I hope everything is okay for you there. Not fun. Mother Nature is so fickle. It really is unfortunate. Mother Nature is very fickle when it comes to severe weather. So again, we've got, again, the pair of tornado warnings, both set to expire here in roughly 5 minutes. So we will stay with you at least for the next 5 minutes, and then we will make a decision how to move forward from there. Going to double check this one again. We're going to look at the set it again. Set it again. I'm going to take a look at the velocity scan. And again, you can kind of see right here, right there, the area of rotation just to the southwest of Corinth there, Rienzi, Iuka, Michi. That's the area of interest. And then we jump down to this one here, and you can arguably see it even more. Right there, to the north of Drew. I zoom in real close here. To the east of Fitzhugh, Whitney, Blue Lake. You are not in a tornado warning, but I advise that you get into your safe place. There is a possibility here in the next 5 minutes that we see that tornado warning get extended eastward into Albin, Sharkey, Swan Lake, Glendora. We've got 5 minutes left in this pair of tornado warnings. We've got someone on Twitter asking if we think that it will come to Hendersonville, Tennessee. One thing I can tell you there, buddy, is that, boy, is it going to be it's going to be wet and windy for the next couple hours. This is far from over here, despite it being early Monday morning now. Sunday morning. Gosh, what am I talking about? I'm already trying to go through Damien. I'm trying to fast forward into the work week. How about that? Woo! All right. So we look at looking at these two here. Just want to be sure before we say goodbye, these things go away and we don't see them again. Hope that you are all doing well. For the people that are watching, I hope that you are safe. I hope that you are dry. It's kind of been like my tagline that I say at the end of the fast forecast: stay safe and stay dry. Because who likes being unsafe and being wet? Not fun. So again, we're watching the velocity scan here, the mean relative storm velocity here, where it will show us winds going in the opposite directions, and we're not seeing anything really jumping out here near Kossuth and Corinth and Glen. They did extend that tornado warning though. There it is into Iuka and into western. Or where's that? That's Crossroads, Burnsville, Pine Flat. And that's for the next half an hour here. Double check on this one here. That is set to expire here in the next 3 minutes. And then we will probably do, being that we are not seeing a hook echo here, we'll probably wrap things up. I don't want to leave you with the tornado warnings active But on the same token, you can follow these storms. If you are not already, as you're watching me here, wherever you're watching from, if you're watching me on your computer, on your television, you can pull up the MyRadar app on another device, a phone, a tablet, computer, and you can track these storms even right along with me. But now we are watching, yeah, that system up here. Let's jump to the reflectivity and see what they're looking at there. I mean, it's likely because of the bowing out there near Corinth and the indication that, I mean, this was part of that storm earlier this evening that did put a tornado down in DeWitt. So it has a history, right? DeWitt, Arkansas, that is. It's that same system. It's made its way all the way up here. So right from DeWitt, kind of in that area, all the way to there. So they've kind of been tracking that. That's, if you've noticed, that tornado warning has kind of just continued to push east and east and east, just based on the fact that up there, that storm system has a history, right? So you want to pay close attention. What's the expression, Damien? It's like fail to, something about, oh gosh, I'm butchering it with history. If to prepare to fail, yeah, exactly. Fail to prepare and prepare to fail. But there's something about learning from the mistakes of history. It's some expression. It's my brain is not firing like I want it to. But that is very apt when you're talking about your safe place, for sure. You need to have that plan in place because, like I touched on before, when you're in the moment, you could forget things, right? You may forget that bicycle helmet. You may forget the blankets to bring with you. You know, maybe in your panic, you might even forget your dog. It's easy to forget things in a panic. All right, so that tornado warning has expired over southwestern Mississippi. That's a good thing. We'll jump back up to this one here near Corinth, and I think we'll probably wrap things up here in a moment. This one's going to stay with you for the next half an hour till 12:45 local time here. But Damien and I need to put the fast forecast together here for you guys. That is set to drop in the MyRadar app in roughly 2 hours. So that will be your forecast that will talk about the day ahead. The people that are saying, should you be worried about a tornado? Again, what you need to do is you need to have your device in which you get alerts on and not in silent mode tonight. You want to have, whether it's the MyRadar app, in addition to a NOAA weather radio, you want to have that plugged in. You need to have a way to get these warnings. You want to be woken up in the middle of the night, like a firefighter would be in the middle of the night. It's not like just because it's in the middle of the night and they're sleeping. If that alarm goes off, they're out, right? You kind of need to have that same mentality like a firefighter. If that warning goes up and you hear it, it's time to act. Because in some cases you only have minutes. So we're watching this tornado warned storm. I'm just going to double check one more time here. We're going to look at the storm velocity. And yeah, we talked about it here. You can kind of see it there. It's trying. It's trying for sure. But this system has kind of been like revving its engine here for about the past hour or so, because this is that same system that way back when now, it seems, just a couple hours ago, did drop a tornado. Or at least we saw video of what seems to be one, at the very least a funnel cloud there of a tornado in DeWitt, Arkansas. So the National Weather Service doing their due diligence in keeping this tornado warning up for those folks as this storm treks eastward. So again, this is all because the Storm Prediction Center has issued, or at least not all because, but in advance of today, the Storm Prediction Center, notice they are, again, I like to call them the Navy SEALs of storm prediction, of severe weather, the tip of the spear when it comes to severe weather meteorologists, the big brains, right? They nailed it in terms of, look at this orange polygon. That's where we're seeing, even right now, where we are seeing tornado warned storms. Aaron has the footage. Yeah, I tweeted that one out. Yeah, if you want to pull it up, we can. We looked at that earlier on the WeatherStem camera, Damien, which we can go to that in Nashville if it is still flashing there for us. But yeah, if you want to pull the video in here while I'm talking, we can look at that. No harm in that. So again, this tornado warning in effect for the next half an hour. It's right there on the line. If I zoom all the way out here, apologies if I'm making you sick from all the zoom in here. It's right there on the line of not only Mississippi, but maybe even crossing into Alabama there. They, being the National Weather Service, they have not pushed the polygon into Alabama yet. That could change. We shall soon see. But Iuka, Corinth, Farmington, you are all under a tornado warning. You need to be in your safe place. It's this red box here, 45, 72, the interchange there near Corinth. This is the same system that earlier this evening did put a tornado down over DeWitt and was a pretty nasty hook echo on the radar. That was roughly 9 o'clock Eastern time. There it is. It's melding in. So again, you can see it right here, right? Do you see how we have that red in the middle of the green there near Gift and Corinth? That is the rotation, right? So that is when you hear radar indicated tornado, meaning it is picking up on the presence of that rotation. I'm just reading over the wording here from the National Weather Service here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, just a radar indicated rotation. But again, this was that same thunderstorm. That's what they're notating here, that this did put down a tornado at some point this evening. That was much earlier, and that was all the way into Arkansas. So this storm system still going nice and strong here into the evening hours. Oh, you got that weather stem camera up there in the corner, Damien? Thank you very much. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen there, you can see a camera looking out at Nashville, Tennessee, courtesy of our partners at WeatherStem. Looks like things have calmed down there in terms of the lightning, but boy, it was like the 4th of July not too long ago there with the flashes of lightning that we were seeing. Wild stuff. You can drop that camera there, Damien. If you want to pull in the Aaron J-Jack footage, that'd be awesome, but no big deal if we don't have it. If you actually want to, Damien, pull up the social media bugs. You can throw that up on the bottom of the screen just so people can see where to follow us if they don't already know. We are on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, of course, on Instagram too. And hey, don't forget to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/myradarwx. Really trying to build out that platform there. Shout out to all the gamers. Corinth, right to the west of you, there is that rotation. You can see it's really ragged, though. It's not that tight rotation that you need. And I bet if we go look at the reflectivity, we will see that it is a big mess. And what do you know? This line right here, right? It's not bowing out super wide. But you're going to find some strong winds there. I mean, according to the National Weather Service, let me click on the tornado warning again. Oopsie daisy. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. Just wanted to move that. There we go. All right, so again, this tornado warning here, this is until 12:45 Central Time. The locations include Corinth, Iuka, J.P. Coleman State Park, Burnsville, Glen, Pine Flat, Leedy, Farmington, Kossuth, Bacon Springs, Allentown, Dosky, Strickland, Blythe Crossing, Wenasauga, Biggersville, Jobs, Gift, Hazard, Switch, and Walker Siding. Shout out to Mississippi. Some of your favorite meteorologists more than likely have crossed paths with Mississippi State University there in Starkville. So the state of Mississippi, very special to meteorologists all across the world. Every location in the world is special, of course, but Mississippi there in Starkville. Shout out to Starkville. Seems like I might be starting to get a little loopy here, Damien. Again, looking at the other tornado warning, this is right on that line, just barely there into Tennessee, just barely. And this is for the next 20 or so minutes. We look at the main line there again. It's not exactly your traditional hook echo there. But again, if we switch to the storm velocity, you can see it's trying so hard. It's trying so hard to make something happen there. But we are just not seeing it. It looks like we have a pretty large audience watching on YouTube right now. What's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody watching from Kentucky. Hope you guys are okay. Shout out to the Big Blue Nation. All right, Damien is talking to me in my ear. He says we have Aaron's video. Let's take it in a picture-in-picture, Damien. Let's not leave the tornado warning here. You can put it in the corner. Yeah, no worries. All right, so Damien's going to make sure that we get to see that, and I'm going to keep looking here at the tornado warning. I'm going to zoom out here, make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm not. It's just this one. This is the tornado warning that earlier today did put down a tornado over DeWitt, Arkansas. Right now passing over top of Corinth, Kossuth. They're at 45 and 72 in Mississippi. In fact, let me grab the pointer tool. Can you see this little notch right up here? That's Tennessee. And then right here, this red notch, not in it, that is Alabama. There's that video. You can make it a little larger there, Damien. This is from my radar storm chaser, Aaron J. Jack. He shot this earlier in Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, look at that. Wild lightning. Again, folks, I mean, man, that lightning is crazy. This again, just goes to show you, you can get some real significant weather really late at night, overnight, early morning, any time of day or night. Have we been streaming now for 2 hours, Damien? Is that accurate? I think so. Yeah, I think so. All right. Wild video there from Aaron. It's like hypnotizing, the lightning there. Again, we are watching the rotation that is present in this storm right in here. Right now over Corinth, pushing toward Burnsville, Iuka, and I believe that's Alabama there, Waterloo. Yeah, it's that little notch right there. That's Alabama. Waterloo, Riverton, Wright. You are not in the tornado warning, but let's talk about a polygon. It's like a can opener shape, right? Kendrick, Pine Flat, Crossroads, Glen, Job, Searcytown, Burnsville. If I just named any of those communities and you live there, you need to be in your safe place. I'm going to look back here at the reflectivity and the hook echo starting to weaken. Damien, you can pull up the social media bugs there. Throw them on the bottom of the screen there if we haven't already. I might have missed them. Again, just for the people that are watching, be sure to follow us on our social media channels. Chief Digital Meteorologist Leslie Hudson will be in tomorrow. And if the weather permits it, you can probably put it on the bottom of the screen there, Damien. If the weather permits it, you might see Leslie on here tomorrow. Yeah, let's put the social media bug there on the bottom so we don't cover the radar stamp. Thank you. So again, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I am meteorologist Mike Linden, part of the team here. And I've got Damien behind the scenes. If you're watching on YouTube, type D in the chat just to let Damien know that you love him. Big shout out to Damien and to Matt. Matt is off today. Matt, one of our hardworking editors, and shout out to Fernand and Chris, some of our other editors, hardworking folks behind the scenes that are the lifeblood of the company in terms of when it comes to our video content. Without them, this would not be possible. So big shout out to Damien, Matt, Fernand, and Chris. Big shout out to all of you. Again, we are watching this tornado warning. It's in effect for the next 20 minutes. Right there on the triple point of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. This system did put down a tornado earlier this evening over Arkansas. And if I zoom all the way out here, that was a ways away, folks. In fact, let me grab the ruler tool here. DeWitt is roughly there. So this storm has traveled roughly approximately 180 miles or so. And I would say that along that whole ride, I mean, while we've been with you for these past 2 hours, that tornado warning has continued to creep east and east and east and east because it has a history. The National Weather Service not taking this one lightly. All right, so Damien's telling me in my ear that someone says that they're experiencing their first tornado. You have no reason to worry as long as you have a plan in place. You want to go to that central location in your home. I'll pull it up here one more time. I don't want to switch away from it for too long, but this is tornado safety for you here. If you have a basement, that's definitely the place to go to. If you are under a warning, I mean, don't waste any time. Get to that safe place, whether that's the hall, a bathroom, underneath the flight of stairs, a closet. The key is to be in the centrally most located spot in your home. Put as much house between you and the outside as possible. We don't care if it's the south, north, east, west side of the house. That does not matter. The key is to have stuff around you, right? And when you go into that bathroom or the crawl space or whatever, you want to be sure that you are your basement, again, ideally, or ideally a tornado shelter. You want to put a bicycle helmet on, cover a mattress over your head, a blanket, anything that you can put over your head to protect your head, your brainstem. I mean, those are very important parts of the body. And it's not a laughing matter. You want to take these things seriously. And as long as you are prepared, then you should be okay. That is the key. If you ignore the warnings and you ignore what is happening, then you're kind of just doing yourself a disservice. Switch back over here to the velocity. And it's ragged, Damien. It's not standing out super significantly, but that is what we are watching. I'm going to put a track on it. I'll answer some of your questions here. Damien, if you want to take the 2-shot, I guess, here. I'm going to answer some of your questions here. If you guys have any questions for myself, for Damien, for Chief Digital Meteorologist Leslie Hudson, for Aaron Jajak, drop them in the comments, and I will try my best to answer them here. I've got to record the fast forecast here with Damien as soon as we are done. That drops in the My Radar app literally in 2 hours. So if you are staying awake, you will see the new forecast coming up in a couple hours. We got some video of some shelf clouds from earlier this evening over Tennessee. That's wild to see. And right, it's just crazy time. I just truly hope that for the folks that live in Mississippi and Alabama, that we really just get a break here. And before we go, I'll actually show you what tomorrow is looking like, because there is an enhanced risk for severe weather tomorrow. We've got Phil here saying he's under a tornado watch in Cullman. I believe you're referring to Alabama there, Cullman County. And yes, Alabama under a tornado watch until I believe it's 4 a.m. there. Let me see here. What else we've got here? We've got Mabel watching in Kentucky. Shout out to the Big Blue Nation. Boonville, Mississippi. Pretty calm here. I'm glad to hear it. Robert asking if there were any tornadoes in central Texas. As far as I know, no. There was one right there on the line there of us, eastern Texas and into Louisiana. What else we have here? All right. Seems like that we should be good. All right. So I'm just gonna double. Yeah, I saw that, Damien. Again, we talked about being safe and being prepared. That's the key. No reason to panic. You just need to be prepared. That is the key. We said it earlier, Damien. Help me so I don't mess it up. Fail to prepare, fail to prepare, and then prepare to fail. Right? So that's the key. If you know what your safe place is, that centrally located area of your home, then you should be okay. You know where to go to. You're doing all of the right things. You have the bicycle helmet. You have a mattress or a blanket, something to keep over your head. Bring the whole family in there, whether it's the bathroom, closet. You want to be away from windows. That's one thing I don't even think I said. It goes without saying. If your bathroom has a window, that is not a good place to be, because if that glass breaks, if anything, a rock, a piece of a house, anything, anything that's airborne that hits that glass, it could break, and you do not want to be on the other side of that glass. Mind you, once you have a break, you get that the negative pressure differential, and that's where things can get really nasty. We've talked about this with hurricanes. When the garage doors fail during a hurricane, that wind can rush into your home, and then it's called the balloon effect, where it puts the pressure on your roof from the inside, and that can cause the roof to just rip right off of your house. So a vulnerability in your house, not a good place to be. So again, windows, no go for sure. Avoid that entirely. So if that centrally located location in your home is a coat closet and is really narrow, it's time to fit in there, because that's going to be your safest place to be. That's the centrally most located area of your home. Again, the good news is here that despite this being tornado warned, we're not seeing any significant signs of rotation. I mean, it's indicated. I mean, you can see it on the radar. It's very ragged, though. It's not a tight couplet that you need for that tornado to drop. You can see it kind of here, and you can see it to the north of Corinth here. Yeah, not so much out here toward Burnsville. It's kind of these two areas here. And in fact, if I zoom things out, sorry, something just popped up on my computer. No idea what that means. All right, we're still good though, Damien, right? We're streaming? We're good. All right, so the Corinth rotation there, not a concern to the National Weather Service anymore as they have expired that. And we are down to this tornado warning here for Mississippi and for Tennessee for the next 10 minutes. But I think, Damien, that will probably wrap things up for us here. I want to thank everybody that has watched this stream. Again, if we can even help one person, that is the goal. And it looks like we had some folks in here tonight that might have learned a thing or two, which is great. For the person in the chat here that is watching in Kentucky, it's hard to tell whether or not you're trolling here, but either way, I'm going to take things very seriously. There is no tornado warning in Kentucky right now. Again, we can zoom out here. No tornado warning. In fact, I have the Jackson, Tennessee radar here. Let me go back to it. Jackson, Kentucky, rather. Breathitt County, if I remember correctly, when I worked in Kentucky. You're good. It's raining for sure. It's raining there. Watch out for some localized flash flooding. But in terms of a tornado threat, Damien, can you still hear me? Okay, I just got kicked out of the streaming software here. I just got kicked out of Splashtop. Hang on, I'm gonna sign back in here. Well, that was strange. What happened there? I've never had that happen to me before. All right, but let's just round things out here, Damien. Anyway, for the folks that were watching, I really thank you for watching. It has really been a you know what, let me just pull this up here, Damien. Let me because I'm gonna have to turn some things off anyway. Give me 1 second here, folks. Apologies. This is the magic of live TV, as they say, right? And I need to get this login here. The radar is still up there, Damien, because it completely crashed on me and I didn't see it. So as long as that last radar shot is still up, we're good. Great. Okay. I just need to get this password. Stand by, folks. What a I've never seen that happen before. We learned something new here. All right, super weird. I have never seen that happen. All right, I'm connecting back into the computer, Damien. What did I think? I was like idling out or something? I'm right here. All right, cool. That was weird. I've never seen that happen. All right. Let's zoom in. Again, for the person that was watching from Kentucky, no tornado warning there. All right. All right, I'll answer some more of your questions here. Damien, you could take the 2-shot, I guess, here. We might as well at this point stay here for the next couple minutes. Someone says Columbia is where I'm at. I'm unsure of which Columbia you're referring to specifically. Robert asked if there can be tornadoes in central Texas. Robert, in terms of the way you asked that question, can there be a tornado in central Texas? For sure. A tornado can happen anywhere, for one. 2, happen right now. It does not seem like that is the case, at least with what you're seeing. Ian asking if Nashville is supposed to get worse weather. You are certainly seeing a lot of rain right now, and it will likely continue to be so overnight. So as long as you're not out on the roadways driving around, you should be all right. But keep an eye if you live near an area that tends to get flooded out, like a side road. I know there's some communities where, everyone has like that one spot that anytime it rains, you start to see the puddles. Watch out for that spot if you know of those near Nashville with the amount of rain. Someone asking, let's all go to Texarkana. It was certainly active there today. Mabel, you're good. No tornadoes right now in Kentucky. Again, though, shout out to the Big Blue Nation. Columbia, Tennessee, the Duck River rising there up near 35 feet. Yeah, that's definitely something that we talked about. The fact that there has just been so much water that's kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit, where we've seen all of the severe thunderstorms and the tornadoes across the South. The flooding locally has been wild in certain places. I know Aaron Jajak shared a video a couple of days ago, or rather this was on the 17th, in Alabama, and water was it was as if a pipe broke on the side of the road, just the amount of water that was rushing there. What else we got here? Gloria said I ignored her question. Gloria, they're flying by. Oh, what about Los Angeles, California? Come on now, we're not talking about with LA. LA's weather lately has been beautiful, mild temperatures, but there's no tornadoes there right now. So we're talking about this here in Mississippi. What else do we have here? Jimmy asking about Tennessee. Potentially getting worse. Again, expect a lot of rain overnight tonight, and a lot of strong winds. Someone asking, I live in a house with 2 stories. Again, centrally located. You don't want to be on the second floor. You want to be, ideally, if you have a basement, that's where you want to be. If you do not have a basement, that first floor, centrally located, not in a mobile home. Never a good place to be. The key word there is mobile, meaning it can move. 2021 already crazy. Ain't that the truth? What else we have here? Southeast Arkansas, Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, the comments are coming in crazy right now. I appreciate everybody that's watching. We've gone a lot longer than I anticipated on going. But hey, let's stay here for the next couple of minutes. Damien will stay here for the next 4 minutes. We might as well until this tornado warning expires or gets extended. You can already see the severe thunderstorm warnings out ahead of this. So we'll see. This tornado warning here in effect until 12:45 local time. That's 4 minutes from now. And it's just barely there for Tennessee, mostly for Mississippi. The communities, I got to zoom in real tight here. High Point Crossroads, Caney Hollow, Sandy Creek Subdivision. Let's go back to the velocity, see if we see any rotation there. And yeah, kind of. I mean, it's not the super tight couplet that you want to see. Let me I'll put a little loop on it here. And again, the reason why you are likely seeing this tornado warning is because it did put a tornado down over DeWitt, Arkansas earlier this evening. So the storm has a bit of a history. All right, so we have 3 more minutes on that tornado warning, so I'll keep answering some of your questions. Oh my gosh, we got so many of them since I looked away here. The person from Nashville saying that they're downtown and can see people driving through lakes of water. I mean, hey, it's on them if their cars get stalled out. It's just not, it's not safe. I mean, especially considering those are the same people that if their car gets stalled out in the water and they call the police, now the police and emergency services have to come out and rescue them. So you're putting the lives of the emergency services at risk for a person that did something that is kind of rather silly, driving into the water. It's even if you have a lifted truck, I just don't care. Don't do that. Let's see what we got here. Ian here in Henderson, Tennessee. Again, just have a way to get the warnings turned on. The My Radar app will deliver those warnings to you. So be sure that you have your notifications turned on. Tap on the settings wheel in the bottom right hand corner of the app. It looks like the little cog settings wheel. Tap on that, notification settings, and then right in there you can turn on even lightning alerts to let you know when there's been a lightning strike within 1 mile of your house. So again, we're watching the rotation there. I'll switch back to the reflectivity. Not crazy. There hasn't been another one, right? You're all throwing so many locations at me. I just want to be sure. Someone asking about LA. I mean, hey, y'all are good. Y'all are good over in LA. Shout out to In-N-Out. What else we have here? Morrow, Ohio. Is there anything else for us tornado-wise? Asks Bree. In terms of anything tornado-wise, right now you are not under a tornado warning. I don't even believe there's a tornado watch in effect in Ohio. I'll double check for you here. But odds are it's just going to be another one of those evenings for you. No, in Ohio there is no tornado watch. Flash flood. Oh my gosh, over all in Nashville there. So many flash flood warnings. Again, the rain really going to be the big factor overnight tonight. And there's that tornado warning. It is gone. So just to double check, we are done with tornado warnings. Damien, you can leave the 2-shot up here. This is your last chance, folks. If you have any other questions for me here, especially Damien's been working literally almost all day today. So we've got to go and do the fast forecast here for you. And then it is probably time to say goodbye. But I love answering your questions. This has been educational, and I hope that even one of you learned something tonight. That would be great. Jacob, your practice for tomorrow is remembering that reflectivity is rain and velocity is wind. No kidding. You say just kidding. No kidding. Oh my gosh, that's gosh. All right. That's funny. Hey Ian, we appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much. There's Sandy Rose, our #1 fan. We love Sandy. Bree saying just getting thunder so far in Ohio. Yep. Ian saying where's the tornado warning heading? It just expired there. It was on the border there of Mississippi and Tennessee. Now bear in mind we'll have to wait until the sun comes up tomorrow to see what's going on there. All right, and we got someone saying chilling in Nashville. Well, I hope that you're chilling there, and that you are staying safe. One final look, Damien. Let's pull up that Aaron Jajak video here. You can take it in full. Let's take a look at Nashville because earlier this evening the severe thunderstorm warnings were blowing up like crazy over there, and flash flood warnings in effect right now for Nashville. In fact, if I put that on here, a little hard to see here. See those green boxes there? A little hard to see. If I make I'll have to turn the radar off for a second. You see those green boxes there? They're not coming up super strong. Those are all flash flood warnings. So a lot of rain falling over Tennessee, folks. It's been raining all day there. So be safe if you live across central Tennessee. The rain likely to be the biggest threat overnight tonight, along with those strong winds. People saying, yes, so much lightning. Yeah, no kidding. There it is. Thank you, Damien, for pulling up that video. This is shot earlier this evening by My Radar storm chaser Aaron Jajak. And boy, Damien, is there audio on this, or am I just not hearing it? You don't think so? Okay, I don't think so either. It might be a time lapse, but I don't think so. Fairly certain this is not.
Look at that. I mean, following the path of least resistance, right? You can see almost that one flash over and over and over again, right? Wild stuff. Damien, let's take that weather stem camera in Nashville, Tennessee. One last time here before we say goodbye. Just to get a live look at Nashville. There's Nashville. And what do you know? Rain on the camera lens there. A wet evening out ahead for the volunteer state. But Damien, you can take me back in full here and we'll round things out. Hey, if you have the Severe Weather Week teaser, you might as well hit that. It's been a long evening of covering these storms. And of course, we will be back with you tomorrow if in the chance there are any severe thunderstorms that do end up looking pretty nasty on radar there, we will be along with you. Of course, in a little over an hour or so, you're going to see the fast forecast dropping in the My Radar app, so watch out for that. And of course, beginning this upcoming Monday is Severe Weather Week 2021, where myself and Chief Digital Meteorologist Leslie Hudson will have all sorts of coverage for you, talking about all of the severe weather hazards that can affect you and I. That begins Monday, March 29th. Be sure to subscribe to the My Radar YouTube channel if you are not already. Smash that like button on this video. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out. And of course, subscribe to the channel. That way you always know whenever we drop a new video, like the upcoming severe weather series, or of course, whenever we go live for something like this. Subscribe to the channel as well, I should mention, because once we hit 80,000 subscribers, we are giving away a smartphone. One lucky subscriber will get to pick whether it's a Google Pixel or an iPhone, whichever one they want, you get to pick. And all you have to do is be subscribed to the channel. When we hit that 80,000 mark, we'll put out a video explaining what you have to do next. In the past, it's been leaving a comment on the video, maybe leaving a comment on our Instagram page. We'll let you know what the terms of the giveaway are. That comes up when we hit 80,000 subscribers. And in order to be eligible to win, you have to be subscribed to the channel. And it's not only new subscribers. Hey, this could even go, shout out to Sandy Rose, who I don't even know how long she's been subscribed to us. But now, you know, hey, once we have 80,000 people, you have a 1 in 80,000 chance of winning a smartphone. And again, you get to pick either an iPhone or a Google Pixel. I'm trying to think if there's any other housekeeping here, Damien. The My Radar store, store.myradar.com. You can actually get one of these shirts here that I'm wearing, repping the merch. I don't want to brag, but boy, are they incredibly comfortable. These shirts are awesome. There's a reason why you see us wearing them so often, not only to rep the brand, because they're really comfortable. Store.myradar.com. Use the promo code SPRING10. Again, that's SPRING10 at checkout to save 10%. And a portion of every single shirt sale that we have ever done has gone to Feeding America. That is a nonprofit organization that helps those affected by natural disasters. They get them food and medical supplies and all that good stuff after natural disasters. So they do a lot of good, and we're glad to help them out. Again, store.myradar.com for that. Damien, if you want to pull up the socials just one more time here. Again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And Twitch, twitch.tv/MyRadarWX. And hey, we're on TikTok as well. Chief Digital Meteorologist Leslie Hudson has produced some really great TikToks, so go and check those out. And we'll have some even more content coming to the TikTok channel for Severe Weather Week. That starts on Monday. Deep breath. All right, that's going to do it. I have been meteorologist Mike Linden. Again, big shout out to Damien there, who has been pulling all the strings, helping me out big time with everything. Big shout out to Damien, to Matt, to Chris, and to Fernan. All of our behind the scenes guys that are responsible for everything that you see on the My Radar app in terms of video content. Everything that you see goes through those guys, and they are hugely vital to doing what we do. So we are grateful to have them on the team. But again, I have been meteorologist Mike Linden. For Damien in the back on the ones and twos, we hope that you stay dry and stay safe. Remember that you can follow everything severe weather-wise in the My Radar app. Be sure you have those notifications on. Again, from all of us at the team, stay safe out there. We'll catch you back here in the next one.